Today's lesson is called Plus Talk, asking for directions and having lunch with friends. Day 2. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Roger, and today it's Act 2 in our lesson about Dennis going to Billy's barbecue to have lunch with his friend Charlotte and a friend. And the friend happens to be Julie, who was the stranger who actually took him from outside of J Street to the restaurant by taking the bus, etc., etc. So today, of course, we are asking for directions. Well, the directions have been asked already. Today, we're actually having lunch with friends, and this is Act 2 today, which is entitled Having Lunch with Friends. Having a meal at lunchtime with your friends around 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
There you go. Today, people are going to be eating lunch. They're going to be having some lunch with some friends. How about that? And yes, the friends are Charlotte, Julie, and then Dennis. Now, remember, on day 1, Dennis got lost. Yeah, remember, we've been following Dennis the last couple of months. He's been traveling in New York City, and yesterday, poor Dennis got lost. He was heading to Brooklyn to meet Charlotte and a friend for lunch at Billy's barbecue, and yeah, he got lost. Now, while he was lost, he got some fantastic directions from a really nice stranger, and these directions got him back on track. But yeah, they only helped him as far as the subway was concerned. So yeah, he got off at the right subway station after a little while, and then he couldn't find the bus, and that's when another helpful stranger stepped in, a person named Julie. And Julie helped Dennis to get on the proper bus and to get to Billy's barbecue, and they thought this was a really cool coincidence. They were both going to Billy's barbecue for lunch, and it turned out actually that Julie was Charlotte's friend, and that they would all be dining together. So yeah, what a great coincidence. Everything ended up working out for Dennis. How about that? Anyways, today though, no more directions, guys. Today we're going to be focusing on food. Food. Yes, Act 2 of this month's Plus Talk dialogue is called Having Lunch with Friends. And when we come back from a short break, Charlotte, Dennis, and Julie, these friends, are going to have some lunch. So stay tuned.
Act 2. Having Lunch with Friends. Having all finally arrived, Charlotte, Dennis, and Julie order some lunch. Well, I'm glad you made it eventually, Dennis. This place has got great reviews online, so I'm excited to try the food.
Yes, it's very highly rated. My friend has been urging me to come here. She really recommends the pulled pork and Korean sticky ribs.
Everything sounds delicious. I want one of each.
大家好，今天第一个单字我们看到的是 highly， 这个字当作副词，代表非常、极其的意思。所以我们可以说 Ron was able to take down the thief because he is highly skilled in martial arts. Ron 会抓到小偷是因为他极其精通武术。再来我们看到的单字是 urge， 这个字当作动词，它有力劝或是敦促的意思。例如 Colin 力劝 Fred 加入音乐社，但 Fred 反而加入了数学社。英文可以这么说 Colin urged Fred to join the music club, but Fred joined the math club instead.
Okay, everybody, it's time for us now to discuss the first part of our lesson. So everybody has arrived at the restaurant here, having all finally arrived. Charlotte, Dennis, and Julie order some lunch. So they're having lunch together at this barbecue restaurant. And here's how Charlotte begins the conversation. She says, well, I'm glad you made it eventually, Dennis. This place has got great reviews online, so I'm excited to try the food. So she says she's happy. She's glad that he made it to the restaurant. He arrived at the restaurant successfully, but she also says eventually. So that kind of implies that he had trouble getting there and he was probably late because, he had to ask directions and those things take time. So still, she's not disappointed that he's late. She's happy that he eventually made it to the restaurant. And then she goes on to say, this place, this restaurant, this establishment has got great reviews online, so I'm excited to try the food. So, of course, before you go out to have a meal with a friend, you might want to go online online and do some research. There are probably some apps on your phone that you can use to find recommendations for good restaurants in your area or in the area you're traveling to. So I guess she got some great reviews for this restaurant, and that's probably one of the reasons why she decided to have her friends for lunch at this restaurant. It got great reviews, so she's really excited to try the food to see what it tastes like.
Yeah, this place has gotten great reviews, so the food is probably pretty good, and that's why Charlotte is excited to try the food. Yeah, here Charlotte's not being sarcastic. She's saying, I'm glad you made it eventually, Dennis, okay? But she could have been sarcastic here. She could have said, I'm glad you finally made it, Dennis. I'm glad you finally or eventually made it there, Dennis, but it took you forever. But remember, these are friends. Friends don't talk to each other that way. Charlotte was waiting. She was probably worried that Dennis got lost. And yes, she's glad. She can sigh a sigh of relief that Dennis made it. It took him a while, but he finally or eventually got there. Anyways, next, Julie has something to say about the food at Billy's Barbecue. Yes, the place has gotten great reviews online. And yes, in addition to that, Julie says, yes, it's very highly rated. Now, here the word highly is similar to the words very or extremely. So, yes, this place has gotten very good ratings. Very good or extremely good ratings. Anyways, one way or another, the place is very highly rated. Maybe it's gotten 4 or 5 stars or something like that.
Yes, for example, I could say, when you're in Kending, I highly recommend you visit the National Aquarium there. It is fabulous. It's highly rated. I highly recommend you go there. And here, the restaurant is highly rated. And Julie goes on to say, my friend has been urging me to come here. She really recommends the pulled pork and Korean sticky ribs. So here we have the word urge, which means you basically persuade someone or you tell someone that that is the good thing that you should do. You recommend that they do this.
Yeah, to urge something or to urge someone to do something. Yeah, to urge something is to kind of strongly recommend that thing. Yeah, my friend has been urging me to come here. She's been saying, yeah, you should go. You should go right now. She is urging this person to do that thing. This friend has been urging Julie to go to Billy's Barbecue, apparently. Anyways, the friend here has been urging Julie to go to Billy's Barbecue. Now, the friend isn't done. Not only has she been urging Julie to go to this barbecue joint, she also has recommended that Julie order the pulled pork and then also the Korean sticky ribs. Now here, we've got to talk about pulled pork. Now, you can't have a barbecue restaurant if you don't have good pulled pork. Yeah, you've got to have ribs and you've got to have pulled pork if you want to call yourself a good barbecue restaurant. But what is pulled pork? Pulled pork, first of all, is delicious, okay? Pulled pork is amazing. But what is it? Pulled pork is pork, pig meat, pork that has been cooked for a very long time over low heat until it can be pulled apart really easily. Yeah, you take a big piece of pork and you cook it for a long time over low heat so that it doesn't burn or anything like that or get tough. And after a while, it becomes so tender that it can be pulled apart easily. Hence, pulled pork. Yeah, you can pull it apart into fine, delectable strips. Pulled pork is delicious. You could say, try the pulled pork. It is unbelievably tender.
That's one thing you can try. That's one thing that Julie's friend recommends. Julie's friend also recommends the Korean sticky ribs. And ribs, of course, are bones in our chest. And I'm assuming they're talking about ribs from an animal here. They're bones that have meat around them. And they are served Korean style. And I've never had Korean sticky ribs before, but I assume they're very sticky, like sticky rice.
There you go. Maybe they're sweet or there's a lot of sugar in the sauce on those ribs, so they are sticky. There you go. Korean sticky ribs. I've never had Korean style ribs, but they do sound tasty to me. Now, more on ribs. Yeah, very simply, ribs are the bones in an animal. that are responsible for protecting the organs in that animal's chest. Organs like the heart and the lungs and stuff like that. But here, yeah, we're not eating human meat. No, no, no. We're going to be eating the ribs of a cow or of a pig. We're not cannibals. Charlotte, Dennis, and Julie are not cannibals. No, here, ribs are these bones, these animal bones, plus the delicious meat from these bones that you can eat together. Well, you can't eat the bones, but you can pull those ribs that are stuck together apart, eat the meat that is between and around them, and boy, will you have a good time. Ribs are delicious. Like I said before, you can't have a real barbecue restaurant if you don't have good ribs. Anyways, Dennis next says, everything sounds delicious. I want one of each. Wow, he's going to get a pulled pork sandwich and a rack of ribs. Dennis, if you're going to do that, be careful. Very often at barbecue restaurants, they serve very big portions, so make sure that your eyes aren't bigger than your stomach there, Dennis. Okay, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, welcome to Billy's. Are you all set to order?
It's our first time here for all of us. We're having a little trouble deciding what to get.
Is there anything in particular you recommend? Well, the pulled pork is one of our most popular items. The lamb belly and beef ribs also get a lot of praise. Myself, I love the pastrami bacon.
I want it all. How much could we get for 3 people?
Depends on how hungry you are. If you order a lot, you can take home what you don't finish. That sounds like a good plan. I'd like to try as much as possible.
Okay, in the next part of the lesson, someone comes to serve them. It could be their waiter, their waitress. We're calling this person the attendant here. You could also say this person is their server. But the attendant says, hello, welcome to Billy's. Are you all set to order? Are you ready to order?
Are you ready? Hello, welcome to Billy's Barbecue. Are you all set to order? Do you know what you want? Order your food here.
Or maybe he's doing it in a Brooklyn accent. Welcome to Billy's. Are you all set to order?
Yeah, and he's probably not so intense. He probably wouldn't say, or she wouldn't say, yeah, welcome to our restaurant. Order right now. No, you're in Brooklyn, so yeah, you gotta have the Brooklyn accent. And chances are, this person's kind of friendly. Hey, how you doing there? I'm the attendant. I'm here to help you out. All right, what do you want? What do you want to order? We got the best barbecue in the city. Anyways, yeah, very simply, an attendant is not unlike a clerk or, like Roger said, a server. Yeah, an attendant is an employee or maybe a volunteer in some situations who provides a service of some kind to people, or in this case, customers, and they do this in some place. Here we've got a restaurant, Billy's Barbecue. The attendant helps people like Charlotte and Dennis and Julie to put their orders in. So I don't think the attendant will actually be serving. He'll just be taking the orders. He or she, I should say, will be taking the orders. And yes, the attendant says, hello, welcome to Billy's. Are you all set to order? And Charlotte says, it's our first time here for all of us. So, for this reason, we're having a little trouble deciding what to get.
That's right. So maybe they want a recommendation from the attendant. It's our first time here. We've never been here before. All of us have never been here before. We're having a little trouble deciding what to get. Yes, sometimes those menus are really big and they're kind of complicated, and it's kind of difficult sometimes to decide exactly what you want to order. It's not simple as it is going into a fast food restaurant where the menu's right there. I want a burger, I want a cheeseburger, some fries and a Coke. No, here you have to know a little bit more about the food that they serve at this restaurant. So yes, they're having a little trouble deciding what to get. And Dennis says, is there anything in particular you recommend? You could also say, what do you recommend? We're new here. We don't know what to eat. We don't mind looking stupid. This is our first time here. We're modest. Hey, you're the attendant. You're the server. Why don't you recommend something for us?
The attendant responds to Dennis by saying, well, the pulled pork is one of our most popular items. Now, I've kind of lapsed into a Boston accent there, so I'm going to cut the accents out entirely here next. The attendant says, well, the pulled pork is one of our most popular items. Yeah, pulled pork is delicious. Very often, if you go to a good barbecue place, they are going to have good pulled pork there. And also remember, Julie's friend had recommended before the pulled pork. So yeah, Pulled pork, it keeps coming up. Maybe someone should order the pulled pork just to be safe. One way or the other, yeah. The attendant says the pulled pork is a popular item. Then the attendant starts to give some more pointed recommendations, some more personal recommendations, I should say. Okay, the attendant says the lamb belly and beef ribs also get a lot of praise, but myself, I love the pastrami bacon. So yeah, pulled pork, that's really popular. Okay, a lot of people also like the lamb belly and the beef ribs. But then, like I said before, the attendant really gets specific. He says, myself, I love the pastrami bacon. Now, here we've got the word pastrami to talk about. Pastrami, that's one of my favorite things on earth. I love pastrami, but what's pastrami? Pastrami is smoked beef that has been seasoned a lot. There have been a lot of spices and pepper added to it, and it is super delicious. Yeah, a good pastrami sandwich is all you need, folks.
Exactly. I'm having a little trouble here because bacon is usually some kind of meat from a pig, but pastrami is beef. So how can pastrami bacon be the same dish if you've got beef and pork in the same dish? Is it like two kinds of meat or something?
I imagine it all comes down to how you slice that meat and then how you season the meat, okay? You can pastrami, let's say, some beef, let's say, or you might be able to pastrami some pork as well, some bacon even, and give it that effect. Create kind of a pastrami-style meat by adding the proper spices to it.
Okay, Julie says, I want it all. It all sounds good. How much could we get for 3 people? She wants the attendant to recommend the amount of food that they should order. And the attendant says, well, it depends on how hungry you are. If you order a lot, you can take home what you don't finish. You can get a doggy bag and take the food home. Yes, indeed, if you're very hungry, yes, you can order all that stuff. But if you're not so hungry, then don't order so much.
And Dennis says, that sounds like a good plan. Order a lot, take the extra stuff home. Good plan. Then Dennis says, I'd like to try as much as possible. So of course he likes this plan. He wants to order everything. And now that he knows that he can take what he doesn't eat home, this plan is just perfect for him. It suits him just fine. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break. But don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
Let's each pick a couple of items, and then we can split and share everything.
Good idea. I vote for the pulled pork and half rack of beef ribs.
I'd like to try the pastrami bacon you suggested. I'll also order the Korean sticky ribs.
In that case, I pick lamb belly and pulled pork tacos.
All right, perfect. Here's your number. We'll call it when your food is ready. Thank you so much. Enjoy your meal.
今天最后一个单字我们看到的是 rack。这个字当中名词，它有羊或猪的肋排肉或是挂物架的意思。例如 Sarah cooked a rack of pork for dinner. Sarah 晚餐煮了猪肋排。
Okay, let's continue to talk about Charlotte, Dennis, and Julie's lunch at Billy's barbecue. The attendant there has just given them some recommendations. That sounds like a lot of food to me, but Charlotte says, let's each pick a couple of items, and then we can split and share everything. So you order this, and you order that, and then I'll order this, and then we can kind of share everything. We can split it, which means separate it or sample it individually, and then we can share it, which basically means the same thing.
Now, Julie says, good idea, good plan there, Charlotte. Then she says, I vote for the pulled pork and half rack of beef ribs. Now here we've got the word rack. Here a rack is a set of ribs. Yes, if you want to order a set of ribs, you ask for a rack of ribs. Now next, Dennis says, I'd like to try the pastrami bacon you suggested. Remember, that's what the attendant suggested there. Then Dennis also says, I'll also order the Korean sticky ribs.
And Charlotte says, well, in that case, because you're ordering those things, then I'll order lamb belly and pulled pork tacos. So we talked about pulled pork earlier, but here the pork is served in tacos, which is a kind of Mexican food. And the attendant says, all right, perfect. Good order. Here's your number. So the attendant is going to give them a number, and then the attendant says, we'll call it when your food is ready. So number 15, your order is ready. So I guess this is how things work at a barbecue restaurant. Your number is called, and then you go over and get the food yourself.
So there you go. The attendant technically is not a server. These guys will have to come and pick up their food when the food is ready. They'll call your number at the restaurant there when your food is ready, and then you go to the counter and you pick it up. Now, next, Dennis says, thank you so much. And the attendant, being a nice person, says, enjoy your meal. All right, folks, with that, today's lesson is in the books, and it's time for you guys to hear from the Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看一下今天文法重点。现在所有的人都已经到达餐厅，准备要点餐了。那 Julie 就说 My friend has been urging me to come here. She really recommends the pulled pork and Korean sticky ribs. 我朋友一直劝我过来，他很推荐那个手撕猪肉还有韩式烤乐排。好，那我们这边来介绍一下动词 recommend 的用法。recommend 它有推荐的意思，那我们可以直接在后面接事物，像如果我说 I recommend the fried chicken 就表示我推荐炸鸡。如果你是要向某个人推荐某事物，则是用 recommend something to somebody 的句型。举例来说 My friend recommended a book to me. 我朋友向我推荐一本书。那我们还可以用 recommend somebody for 加上职位啊、工作啊或是升迁等等，来表达说为了某个目的而推荐某个人。举例来说 She recommended Mr. Kent for the position of assistant manager. 她推荐肯特先生来当副理这个职位。好，另外 recommend 它也有提议建议的意思，那这时候用法就跟 suggest 差不多。第一种用法是 recommend 加上名词或者是动词 ing。 举例来说 She recommended taking a taxi to the airport. 她提议搭计程车去机场。第二种用法是 recommend 加上 that加主词加上 should 加上原形动词，那其实这个句型里面的 should 常常省略不用哦，只保留后方的原形动词。例如 She recommended that we take a taxi to the airport. 就像我们刚刚讲的，她提议搭计程车去机场。那虽然它前面动词是用 recommended， 但是我们 that 子句里面 we 后方就用 take a taxi 用原形。还可以用另外一个句型是 It is recommended that 主词 should 原形动词，那其中这个 should 也可以省略不用，只保留后方原形动词。例如 It is strongly recommended that you check your tire pressure on a regular basis. 强烈建议你定期检查胎压。好，在对话的第二部分 Dennis 问服务员有什么特别推荐的，他就说 Is there anything in particular you recommend?In particular 这个片语就表示尤其特别的，那我们就顺便来学一下 particular 它的字根。particular 这个字其实从 particle 来搭配形容词字尾 ar 演变而来。particle 是拼作 p-a-r-t-i-c-l-e。 好，那这个字它是指颗粒、微粒或者是极小的量，那在物理学当中它就表示粒子。particle 其中这个 part 表示部分嘛，那么字尾 cle 它是名词字尾，表示小。我们要怎么把 particle 跟 particular 联想在一起呢？ particular 当名词的时候，它有细节、详细资料。那我们知道细节其实就是非常非常微小的项目或者是事情。那当我们挑出某一个细节，要特别琢磨在那个细节上，你就可以联想到 particular 当形容词，它还有特别、特殊、特定的意思，甚至还可以用来描述很挑剔的或是非常讲究的。好，那以上是今天的重点整理，我们接下来回顾今天的单字吧。
Highly. Ted is one of the most highly respected actors in the business. Urge. We urge you to call us if you experience any technical difficulties. Rack. Melanie ordered mashed potatoes and a rack of lamb for dinner.
Okay, everyone. with that, today's article is now complete. But as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.